everybody. Hi everybody, I'm Ryan Kim, America's best friend, and today we are in the town of Bristol, Vermont. Bristol's a town of about 4,000 people tucked right in at the foot of the Green Mountains. You can see right behind me, those are the Green Mountains. Now, it's not a really beautiful day, but it is a really beautiful town, so I just want to take you on a quick little tour. Before we do that though, I want to give you a little bit of history. Bristol was chartered in 1762, which is a long time ago. Back then, when it was chartered, Bristol was originally called Pocock, after some famous English admiral. But about 20 or 30 years later, they changed it to Bristol, and nobody really knows why. There's a really great legend about Bristol, which is that around 1800, a guy showed up in town. He was digging around the hills, digging and digging and digging. People were like, what's going on? He made up this big story about there being a huge amount of gold buried in these hills that he had lost in a rock slide. Nothing has ever been found, but the legend remains that somewhere in these hills there's like $500 million worth of gold for the taking. This is Bristol's Main Street, which has been designated as a National Historic District. That half of Main Street burned down in 1898, I mean like to the ground, and the town of Bristol came back and rebuilt it all in under a year, which is why that side's mostly brick and that side's mostly wood. Let's go! This is the town green right in the heart of Bristol. Sometimes it's green, sometimes it's white, sometimes a little bit of both. In warmer months, it's really heavily used. They do all sorts of festivals over the course of the year. July 4th, Cool Yule, a really great Memorial Day parade. This time of year, you can see it's not really heavily used, particularly on days like today because it's like 15 degrees. This is the Lord's Prayer Rock. A long time ago, there was a little boy named Joseph Green whose job it was to bring these logs out of the mountains to a sawmill here in Bristol. And he had to cross all these bridges with all of these logs, and whenever he saw this rock, he knew he made it, so it gave him a lot of peace and security. So years later, he made it as a doctor in Buffalo, New York, came back and spent some money to get the Lord's Prayer carved in on this here rock as sort of a tribute to that sense of security it gave him. Pretty neat, right? This, folks, is the New Haven River, which is a big reason why Bristol exists today. A lot of the early industry in town was lumber and grist mill, processed right here in these woods. This old site here used to be the Bristol Manufacturing Company, which was one of the first American mass producers of coffins. They also made baby carriages, and they operated right here alongside the New Haven River for 89 years until they shut down in 1939. If you want to know more about Bristol's history, come by Howden Hall. They've published a bunch of these books detailing everything you want to know about Bristol's history and more. Thanks for joining me in Bristol, Vermont. Catch you next time in the next town. You ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Ah! Ah! It's really good, actually.
All right, go again.
What? Thanks again for watching another episode of America's Best Friend. Please check out my Patreon page and consider becoming a supporter of this project.